Ah, Dreamland. What a great planet. I hope nothing bad happens while I'm on vacation here. Kirby 64 is one of my favorite Kirby games of all time because of how unique it is, especially with the main draw of the game being that you can combine your abilities. And some of these combinations are some of the most fun abilities in the entire franchise, such as Fire and Cutter being mixed to make the Flame Sword being one of the coolest ones ever, or even a mix of Cutter and Bomb making exploding ninja stars. And the best part about all of it is that the game actively encourages you to experiment with these combos. You could just double stack some abilities and make them more powerful versions, but why do that when you can find out all the combinations and what they do? And combining abilities helps you get the main collectible of the game, the Crystal Shards. And the Crystal Shards are mainly there to help ward off dark matter, the main reoccurring villain of the Kirby franchise up until this point in the series. But instead of giving you the big lore dump of it all and telling you in a boring format, how about we go through each world and their best parts? So World 1 is the first world you'll start off with in the game, and it's mainly to be the basic world to teach you the mechanics of the game. It also serves as a way for you to collect all your friends on your journey, who will help you out occasionally. And each level in this world ends with a boss fight, because all your friends have been corrupted with dark matter, so now it's up to you to save them. Which leads us to level 1 of World 1. And this level showcases just the best parts of the game. It gives you an easy way to combine abilities. There's a mini boss that you have to fight very early on that's super simple and teaches you how to fight mini bosses. And it even ends off with a boss fight with one of your friends. What? I totally have friends. It's just that I may have forgotten them when I blew up my ship and started working in a rental store. I'm not a bad friend. Just look, there's one right there. No! The next two levels are kind of more the same. You go through them with just some differences, like level 2 being an autumn forest, and level 3 being a castle. Both of them have a bunch of abilities that you can experiment with that weren't in the first level. And of course, at the end of the level, there's a boss fight with two more of your friends.
Hear ye, I say, hear ye, your glorious King DDD has arrived. Say, what are you fellas doing? What's this here, treason now? Are you trying to blow me away with those big old nasty firearms? Surely you just...
And then the final level of each world is the boss of the world. This one's Wispy Woods. Of course, he's the classic Wispy Woods. He's not too hard, but he does show off some of the 3D aspects of the game. Even though this game is, well, 2.5D. So you know, just burn him alive and then move on to World 2. World 2 is the desert world, and to be honest, it's one of the least memorable and one of my least favorite worlds. It has okay levels, with the whole pyramid thing going on, and that being very memorable, but that's about it. There's not too much to talk about, so let's just move on to World 3. This is World 3, aka the Water World. This world is filled with a lot of fun stuff. A cool jungle level, a beach level, and even some cool underwater caves. But my favorite level in this will always be the jungle level. You see, the jungle level has a lot of cool set pieces, like a falling bridge, and even a boat ride.
It's a bridge. Just goes around the corner. Walking on the fighting side of me.
That don't look like it.
It
goes down.
It don't. It don't go down.
Robert, it goes down.
No, it don't.
It do go down.
Oh.
And the underwater caves sport a lot of great scenery, even if it's a little hard to breathe in. But that might just be a little too much water for most people. So how about we move on to World 4? Okay, so World 4 was a little different than I remembered it. But let's just move on to World 5. I mean, nothing could go wrong there. So this is the snow planet, aka World 5. And for some reason, I can't put my finger on it, but this planet looks a little familiar. Despite this planet being the snow planet, it has a lot of good level variety. The first level you start off with is a snow level with a cool sledding section. But after you recover from a sledding accident like that, you can head on to a later level, like the toy store and the factory. And I'm starting to notice something about these places. It's almost like people used to live here. You know, I have heard a lot of theories about this world. One of the big theories is that a bunch of humans used to live here, but the planet got devastated in some terrible war or something like that. But for some reason, I just can't believe that. I mean, if you look at Kirby in the Forgotten World, that also looks like humans lived there. But we know they left there to go live somewhere else and left everything behind. So who's to say that they didn't leave this planet behind in its devastated state? And I mean, they even left a giant robot there! And who doesn't like giant robots? Speaking of robots, this robot's the boss of this world. He's honestly a pretty easy fight once you know what you're doing, but he can be a little tough if you're using one of the melee abilities. But I think that's enough theorizing for now. Let's move on to the last two worlds and see what's left for us in this journey. This is the last actual world of the game, being World 6, and I gotta say, unlike the other place looking familiar, this all feels a little too similar to World 1 to some degree. I mean, the first level of this world is just the same as the first level of World 1. But skipping to the boss of this world's a very special one, because it can only be hurt in one way, using the same powers that it's using for its attacks. You see, this boss's main way of attacking is by using the powers that you can use against you. And you have to use those same powers to hurt it during those attacks. Instead, the boss is completely invincible otherwise. Once you learn how to deal with this boss in its proper way, it's a pretty simple and easy fight, and after beating him, you'll usually get an ending cutscene. Unless you've collected all the crystals like I did, which will now lead you to the final world of the game, World 7. World 7 isn't really a world, it's just one stage that houses the true final boss of the game. This battle's a little weird because it's mainly a shooter where you shoot the boss in his eye. And when you shoot him in his eye, it will cause him to bleed from his eye. That's definitely gore of someone's comfort character for sure. And the boss's name is 02. Not that 02. Well, unless...
It seems you have learned my secret well ... It's too late, kid, time to die.
Rocket launcher.